And welcome to a special edition of Bury Your Bookie, a Greenlight Ventures presentation. And we're going to dive into gambling legend today on this special program, as we'll be featuring the great poker. I mean, you talk about immortalizing yourself in film. That happened with the movie Rounders, but this is a man of great distinction we're going to introduce to you very shortly. The great Johnny Chan going to join us here on the program. So we'll dive into a little poker. I'm one of those guys that always had like 2-6 off suit, and I was thinking I'll go ahead and play this. Johnny Chan is the kind of guy that could make that sort of thing work. Now, if you are going to be gambling, and there's all kinds of football taking place over the weekend, we gave you a couple of picks on the Thursday edition of Bury Your Bookie with the professor who was very much interested in laying a couple of points with North Carolina. And we also espoused a theory about the under in that ball game. New quarterback for North Carolina. They couldn't put up 50 points last year with Drake May, a first-round draft pick, albeit maybe struggling with the New England Patriots. And he ended up not being able to produce any points last year in a similar spot. So what are they going to do with a new quarterback? Probably try to run the ball. Mac Brown, be conservative in this opening game. So North Carolina on the road against Minnesota was one of our picks, and it should be a good ball game to a great barometer for both teams to start out the season. Minnesota's lost a lot. If you are betting the games over the weekend, Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything involving football. NFL is about to get underway. Bet Online has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. If you think you know your stuff, you can get in on our 200,000 mega contest, and all you have to do there is pick 5 games against the spread every week, and the high total ends up winning. If you think you know your stuff, get in on our $200,000 mega contest and pick the 5 games against the spread every week. Like we said, $200,000 at stake. When the game's over, head on over to the online casino, and you can play poker. Maybe you could be the next Johnny Chan. You can play blackjack. They have over 150 slot games that you can entertain yourself with and take a crack at winning some big jackpots. Head on over to the website today to get on all the action. Bet Online, the game starts here. All right, hoping to connect with Johnny Chan, the legendary poker player, a special edition of the program. I do want to tell you a couple of things about Greenlight Ventures before we get going here, our presenting sponsor on the show today. They are very much immersed in what is known now as arbitrage betting. You're saying, what the hell is that, Deforrest? What is arbitrage betting? And it's a system now that literally, I mean, it's foolproof. That sounds like a ridiculous claim, doesn't it? But it's sparked by alerts that you get through their artificial intelligence that they have developed, where you get an alert on certain conditions that arise not all the time, but frequently enough to take advantage of it almost on a daily basis, where there's such a discrepancy in the odds that are being offered on certain propositions and certain games that you can actually cover both sides. You're not middling, you're covering both sides and ensuring yourself of making a profit. It's fascinating. Greenlight Ventures is one of the leaders in this area of gambling. I don't know. I mean, is there no sex appeal to knowing that you're going to win? Well, wouldn't that be the greatest thing? One of my favorite episodes ever of The Twilight Zone, the great Rod Serling. I mean, this goes back, this guy was way ahead of his time, as we know. And one of my favorite episodes, there's a track degenerate, and he starts getting a copy of tomorrow's paper. Somehow, through the stars getting crossed, he's getting tomorrow's paper. And what's in tomorrow's paper? But that day's race results. So he now knows who's going to win the races, and he starts winning like never before. He doesn't know what to do with himself. He's never been happier. He's rolling all of a sudden. He's got babes. Everything that he's doing in his life is working out. And sure enough, it ends up that he disappears. And nobody can figure out what happened to him. They're thinking maybe, he just took his riches and moved to another country and is living somewhere on the Amalfi Coast in Italy and just enjoying himself. And then you see, as they're showing a shot of the rail, and there are a bunch of papers there and things swirling around, and the newspaper opens up, and what happens? You get the obituary column, and his name is in it. So not always good to have this information in advance, but this is going to be great, and figures to be, because we're going to be talking here in just a sec with the great Johnny Chan, who was, as we said, immortalized in the movie Rounders, probably the greatest gambling movie ever made. I would put it right up there. And there he is. Unbelievable. I
Oh,
told you,
that's
Jimmy, I have 3-7 off suit. What did I do? Do I go ahead and go?
378. If you have 3-7, depends who it is. Okay, weak
Yeah.
player, I try to power, just bully my way through the pot. If a good player, I'd stay away from it. Otherwise, normally they have pretty good hand to get into the pot with you. So just pick your spot, basically.
Wonderful to have you on the program, Johnny. I know we've talked before, and I'm a huge fan. As I was saying in the introduction, immortalized in the movie Rounders, but not that you didn't achieve tremendous distinction in the game of poker prior to that. It's an interesting story, though. You told us before. How did you end up in the movie Rounders? Because it wasn't necessarily like a smooth path where you were sitting in some restaurant and got discovered. What happened there?
Well, the producer asked me to sign a release for the clip of the World Series in 1988, which I beat Eric Seidel. He wanted me to sign a release. I said, okay, I'm going to sign it. And then I was telling my daughter about it when we were having dinner. And then my daughter Jennifer says, Dad, Mac Damon and Ed Norton's going to be in it. Why don't you be in it? I say, well, let me see what happens. So I call the producer next day. I say, hey, listen, I'd like to be. My daughter want to meet Mac Damon and Ed Norton. I say, is that possible? Oh, anything is possible, Johnny.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, they add that. I'm not supposed to be in the movie. They add that part for me to be in the movie, shooting that show at the Taj Mahal in 1998. So that's how we started, and then we do, I don't know, a couple hours shooting, and then break for dinner. And next thing you know, we went to a nightclub in Atlantic City, have a great time.
So you're hanging with Matt Damon and Ed Norton. That movie was way ahead of its time. I felt, and it preceded the poker craze on TV, which you were a big part of that movement as well. I mean, how much did that mean overall? Because I remember going into, I'd be in Las Vegas, and you moved there, what, in like 1978 as a
Yeah,
21-year-old Johnny Chan?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was a different scene there. I mean, you used to have there would be three guys, three all busted out gamblers sitting at a poker table, and then you would walk by maybe to make a bet on a game, and they go, hey, big guy, you want to play? I mean, they had to rope people into it, but how much? I mean, it seemed like it took off exponentially. The popularity of poker, especially after that movie.
Yeah, Jeff. Back then in the late '70s, early, it's hard to start a poker game. Now you go any casino anywhere. I mean, there's no seats open. It's all packed.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
like a day and night. Back then it's hard to start a poker game, and then everybody had make an appointment. Hey, listen, we're gonna start a game at 2 at the Stardust or at the Golden Nugget or the Dunes. Back then there was no Bellagio or Aria or even the Winds. So yeah, we come a long way, Jeff.
Very different scene. Now, what was it like back in the day when you were playing 70s or 21 years old? Were people aware of your skills? And I don't know. How did you explain it? Did you have to tell your parents, hey, I'm quitting school and going to Vegas to be a poker player?
You know, when I moved to Vegas, my dad didn't want me to go to Vegas. My dad told me, Johnny, if you go to Vegas, you're not my son anymore.
Oh, wow, disownment.
Yeah, this all me. You know, my dad is like gambling. Period. My mom just like, Johnny, do what you want to do. You think that's what you want? I just want. My mom just wanted me to be happy. So I decided to go to Vegas. Took a shot. Sure enough, I discovered there's great poker games, all kinds of poker games. I started playing at the Circus.
Oh, wow.
Circus, 10 a dime ante, 7 card stud. That's true story. Low card brings in for a dime, you raise to $1. I mean, we were playing $1 and $3 limit. So that's where I started.
That's how it got going. Now, when did you know that you had this game? I mean, you could say. I think it's fair to say you might not say it, but had this game mastered. I know you could always learn something, but When did you know that A, you could read people, and B, had the feeling for the cards?
You know, Jeff, when you're playing poker, you meet people from all walks of life. Like, I mean, if I don't play poker, I would never have a chance to meet Donald Trump. I mean, making the movie at the Taj Mahal, meet Steve Wynn, playing face to face with him at the Golden Nugget, meeting Sheldon Adelson, owner of the Venetian. I mean, watch us playing poker, and Benny Benyon owns the Horseshoe, just come down and just sweating me, and then Bobby Baldwin, the CEO of the MGM. I mean, he's retired right now, and then even Bill Gig, Carl Icahn, some of the big names I met throughout my poker life, and I was it's amazing. I mean, I'm glad I chose to be a poker player. I've chosen what I love to do, and look at me now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, legendary gambler, and a pleasure, like I said, to be able to introduce you to our Bury the Bookie viewers and listeners out there. All right, so the big move though is 1987, and then you etched your name in stone in terms of being a legend in 1988 with that Seidel hand. My son, every now and then, who's a big poker fan and a player, and he was out there playing in some of the World Series events this year. He always sends me the picture of you with the sunglasses on and Seidel wondering if you should go all in. So if you can, I mean, dissect that closing hand where you won the '88 World Series of Poker. That was also, as we said, commemorated forever in time by the movie Rounders.
That was unbelievable. I mean, I at the button. Took a look at my hand. I jack nine a glove and just limp. And then I think Eric, if I remember correctly, Eric have a queen seven offsuit. So we both check on the flop. I mean, we just took a flop. Flop comes at just perfect. Queen 10-8. Wow, I flopped on stone nuts, man.
Wow. Yeah.
And then Eric bet right into me. I said, man, how sweet this is. I mean, just I got one into heaven. So I just raised him a little bit. So he took a bite. He called. And 4th Street comes a blank. I said, man, I had this guy going dead. I don't want him to go anywhere. So he checked. I check along with him. So on the river comes another blank. I mean, in his mind, in Eric's mind anyway, he thought he had the nuts. He just shoved all the chips in. I looked at my hand. I said, make sure I have the sure enough, it was Jack Nine and gloves. So I say, I call and the rest is history. I won the World Series.
Yeah, you really trapped them there. They may have even have used that principle in the scene there in the movie Rounders with KGB and Matt Damon when he has the straight and he says, "You trapped me. Pay that man his money."
All true. But
Yeah, no, no, no. I mean, how much of it is reading people, and how much of it is understanding the numerology of cards and the various strategies? People always talk about, well, maybe this game is 50% mental. How much of it is the ability to just understand? We saw that with Stu Unger in the movie about him, that he was phenomenal at reading people's hands. Is that one of your strongest things about playing a game, or is it more important to just understand the cards?
Stu Unger is amazing man. I mean, he can sit there. I don't. You know anything about gin rummy, Jeff?
Yes.
He you just like couple cards. He know exactly all your full hand. He just like have your whole hand painted on the wall, just looking at it. All right,
Exactly.
you just playing poker basically the same as all. It's basically playing other people's mind. If I know what you have, hey, I'm trying to get suck to try to get much money as I can out of my hand. If I had to beat, if you had me beat, I try to lose less as possible. That's poker. It's all psychology, mentally reading your opponent's hands. Yes.
All right. What's the weirdest thing you've ever seen in the middle of a pot, Johnny Chan? I mean, you see this stuff. Maybe it's stuff that's hocus pocus out of the old west, where the guy has the deed to the ranch. He's got his marriage license in the pot. He throws a gun in there. I mean, what have you seen in the middle of pots in your lifetime of playing poker that you would characterize as being slightly out of the ordinary?
Jeff, you probably don't believe it. A guy have a bundle of cash. Back then, in the 70s and 80s, we play with cash and chips. So we have we have a wrapper up a bundle like $100 bills.
Uh-huh.
But throw a bundle in there, say I'm all in. Other guy call with a lot of chips with like maybe 40, 50,000 in chips. He thought the bundles looked like $5,000, maybe no more than 10. But when the guy opened up his bundle, Jeff, you don't believe it. He have a $10,000 bill with it.
Oh, get out of here.
Oh my
I didn't
God!
know one existed. I've never seen one.
Yeah. The guy is—I don't know where he got it, but
Who's on it?
my God,
Yeah, you've probably seen a few in your lifetime. So you've never played for like something out of the realm of capital. You never ended up like owning some guy's car or anything like that, or gold chains or jewelry that made it into the pot.
people when they go broke, normally they don't do on the poker tables. They go,
Yeah.
listen, I got a nice ring here. I got a nice watch. Can you hold it for me for a few days and loan me, a few thousand? That
Right.
happens all the time.
Oh, okay, so you become a pawn shop basically.
No, I don't know. I don't do that all the time, but I only
Yeah.
do it to people that I know I can trust. Say, nowadays you don't know the watch is real or the diamond's real. I mean, what the
Sure.
hell? I'm not.
Yeah, you don't want to be fencing some.
I would like to tell you a funny story.
Yeah,
In the late '80s and the early '90s, we're a billionaire, a Frenchman. He have cancer. The final wish he want to play with the greatest poker player in the world. So he invite us, which is Doyle Brunson, Chip Reese, Bobby Bowen, and Jack Binion. Jack Binion owned the horseshoe back
sure.
then. To Paris to play poker one. That's all he wants to do. He want to play with the best poker. I mean, in the world. So we went over there. He have a big old mansion in Paris, and started the game around 10 o'clock. We had lunch around 2. So he was on his Ivies. He's some paints, but we want to play. He got a couple of nurses there. We play poker. We're playing back then. I think 1 in 2,000. That's all you play, 7 card stud. Playing 1 in 2,000 or 2 in 4,000. So every day we finish lunch. So we took a break. We had when we go to French, we don't know what we're eating. We have sausages every day, cheese, day in and day out. Doyle says, "Man, this is bullshit." So the French his name's Francine. So he says, "Next day I'm gonna surprise you. Don't worry. The food's gonna be good tomorrow." Okay, everybody waiting for tomorrow. You know what Francine ordered? McDonald's hamburger.
And Brunson was happy.
Here- Here's the thing, Jeff. I want you
Yeah.
to catch it. So we're sitting here eating. Everybody got 2 hamburgers. So I eat my hamburger and my French fries. So everybody only done their 2 hamburgers. Doyle I still got 1 hamburger left. Doyle's looking at my hamburger and say, "Johnny, I want to pay $100 for the hamburger." Chip Reese says, No, 200. I say, wait, guys. I'm sitting there thinking, wow, this is good. Let me auction this hamburger out.
Keep bidding them up.
Well, bought it for, I think $1,000.
$1,000 McDonald's burger.
McDonald's hamburger. That was the greatest story I.
That's inflation for sure. But, now you mentioned Brunson. You mentioned some of the legends and you span a lot of eras in the game of poker. You're still playing an active player. I mean, if you could name a couple of the toughest guys that you've gone against, guys that even Johnny Chan felt a little bit of discomfort when the guy was staring you down or putting on a funny nose or whatever. Who are some of the toughest guys that you played?
Only one. His name's Phil Ivey.
Phil Ivey. Wow. Okay.
He stare you down. He stare you down.
You never know what this guy's thinking. That is true.
Yeah. He not on top of that. He's a great player.
Yes.
He was one of the best players I ever played against. The rest, I got nothing to say. But my opinion, I could be wrong. I think Phil Ivey is one of the best players.
Smart guy too. I mean, he got in that jackpot in Atlantic City because he was able to somehow read the cards based on the way They were printed on the back, and that's very
Yeah, yeah,
controversial.
they call it what they call itch,
Yes,
sore itch, whatever. It it's he didn't do nothing wrong. Phil Ivey didn't do
no,
nothing wrong. It's just casino allowed him to have the what you call an eagle eye lady to look at the cards. I mean, you set the card certain way. Don't shoe on it. She know where the eights and nines are.
sure,
But you own the casino, you permit that. When you lose, you claim foul. That's not
can't
right.
cry exactly.
Yeah, it's just not fair. It's just you're made a mistake. You shouldn't have. You didn't have to do that, but you did it. And what happened if you win? I mean, he
Yeah,
doesn't. Even though you had that, that with eights and nines out, Phil Ivey could have lost those hands too.
sure. They
But
would have been happy to take his money. Yeah,
oh
that's
my
a
God,
certainty.
they would love to take their money, our money, or his money, and smiles. You like what? When you coming back tomorrow?
All right, the credentials are there. Johnny Chan, Hall of Fame, 2002. 10 World Series bracelets that ties in with several others in behind Phil Hellmuth, who knocked Johnny off a possible three-peat as he won in 87 and 88, the World Series of Poker, lost running second to Phil Hellmuth, the bad boy of poker in 1989. And 27 final tables, just an unbelievable series of accomplishments for Johnny Chan. And we share this, Johnny. We're both shareholders in Greenlight Ventures. And I know you see a lot of possibilities for these guys in the future. They have this thing going, which I find fascinating, which is the arbitrage betting. Where, I mean, can you ever imagine a situation where you came across information where you cannot lose? But that's where it's headed. I mean, a lot of interesting stuff coming from those guys. So glad to have you on board as well with the people at Greenlight Ventures.
I'm a shareholder and I'm proud of it. Okay, so let's go, Green Venture.
take it to a new level. Did you bet sports at all, Johnny Chan?
Oh, buddy, they busted me so many times.
Oh yeah.
I mean, in the '80s and '90s. I mean, I look. Sometimes there's no poker game, Jeff. I'm so bored. I just want to bet. Oh, there's a football game, Dallas against Pittsburgh, or Chicago against Denver. Just on Sundays, that's what I do. I just bet football, and
Any luck? People are probably always asking you for tips, figuring you know.
I don't know anything. But nowadays with the computer, if I want to know something, I'm going to ask my man Raphael. He would help me with some
Oh
tips.
yeah, no, this guy knows his stuff.
There you go.
Johnny, a pleasure having you on. I hope to have you on frequently. I mean, people love you, and you are legendary in the degenerate gambling world, and first class gentleman all the way. Congratulations on all your success, and thanks so much for being with us.
Well, Jeff, I love to be on this show, and I'm just want be thrilled to be here. Okay, so hope to see you next time. See you soon. Okay,
Okay, sounds good. Johnny Chan, ladies and gentlemen.
next time. Bye bye.